Welcome everyone. I'm excited to welcome you to today's presentation. Today, we'll be discussing the recipients of Zakaah. This is a very important topic within our community and faith. On this first slide, you'll see the title, Recipients of Zakaah, along with the copyright notice for 2025 by Continuous Learning Development. In this presentation, I'll briefly cover who qualifies to receive Zakaah and the significance of understanding these categories. So, let's get started and explore this meaningful subject together. Now, let's take a closer look at the 8 categories of Zakaah according to the Hanafi school. These categories are essential because they help us understand who is eligible to receive Zakaah and how it functions as a form of social support. First, we have the poor and the needy, those who lack sufficient resources to meet their basic needs. Then, there are those employed specifically to administer the funds, ensuring that Zakaah reaches the right people. Next, we have those whose hearts have been reconciled, meaning new Muslims or those close to Islam who might benefit from this act of kindness. We also include those in bondage, which historically referred to slaves, but today can symbolize those in any form of hardship or servitude. Then come those in debt, people struggling financially and unable to pay what they owe. The next category is those in the cause of Allah, which can encompass a variety of charitable efforts and projects that serve the community. We also have the wayfarer, or traveler, who might be stranded or in need while away from home. Understanding these categories helps us see that Zakaah isn't just charity. It's a structured system designed to support specific groups in society, reinforcing our collective responsibility and compassion. Let's take a closer look at the terms fakir and miskin. The fakir, or the poor, is someone who has very limited resources. Basically, they struggle to meet their basic needs. The miskin, or the needy, on the other hand, is someone who has absolutely nothing and is in even greater need. Understanding these distinctions is important because it helps us recognize who is truly deserving of Zakaah and other forms of charity. Now, moving on to those who are employed to administer Zakaah. The imam, or the official responsible for distributing Zakaah, is paid based on the work they do. Their pay is proportional, so the more effort they put in, the more they earn. But it's also important to note that they receive enough to cover their needs and those of their helpers. Interestingly, their compensation isn't limited by the 8 shares, which are specific categories of recipients. Speaking of categories, the Hanafi school of thought recognizes 8 specific groups for Zakaah distribution. These categories help ensure that Zakaah reaches those who need it most, maintaining fairness and focus in the distribution process. Connecting this to our overall theme, understanding these roles and categories helps us see how structured and thoughtful Zakaah distribution can be, ensuring aid reaches the right people efficiently and justly. Now, let's move on to some specific categories related to Zakaah. The first one is those whose hearts have been reconciled. Historically, this group was recognized as needing support to strengthen their faith and community bonds. However, this category has been dropped in recent times because Allah provided strength to Islam itself, making it self-sufficient in this regard. As a result, there's now a consensus that this category is no longer necessary for Zakaah distribution. Next, we have those in bondage, specifically slaves or mukatabs. The Islamic approach emphasizes helping them in their journey toward freedom. If someone is a slave or has a contract to buy their freedom, what we call mukatabs, the goal is to assist them in securing their emancipation. This is a clear act of compassion and justice in our faith. Moving on to those in debt, this refers to individuals who owe money but do not possess enough wealth exceeding their debt, what is called nisab. These are people liable to repayment but are not wealthy enough to cover their debts and still meet the minimum wealth threshold. Supporting such individuals is also an important part of Zakaah, especially when their debts prevent them from fulfilling their basic needs or improving their situation. Finally, in the Hanafi school, Zakaah is categorized into 8 groups. Today, we've looked at some of these key categories, which help us understand who is eligible to receive Zakaah and how it serves as a means of social justice and support within our community. This understanding connects back to the overall theme of our presentation. how Zakat is a vital tool for societal welfare and spiritual growth. Now, moving on to the next important point, we see the phrase, those in the cause of Allah. This refers to individuals who dedicate themselves to Allah's cause through acts like participating in battle or performing the Hajj pilgrimage. These individuals are considered to have become destitute after such efforts, either due to the expenses involved or the hardships faced. It's important to highlight that Zakat is not meant to be given to wealthy warriors, but rather to those who have genuinely experienced hardship after their efforts in the cause of Allah. This emphasizes the principle that Zakat supports those who have sacrificed for Allah, especially when they are in need due to their service. Next, let's look at the concept of the wayfarer, or Ibn Sabil. This refers to a person who might have had wealth in their own land, but finds themselves stranded elsewhere, with absolutely nothing in their possession. They are essentially travelers who have lost their means and are in urgent need of help. This category captures the reality that sometimes, even those with wealth can find themselves in unexpected situations abroad, and Zakat can be a vital source of support for them. Finally, we turn to the Hanafi perspective, which categorizes Zakat into 8 specific categories. These categories help us understand who is eligible to receive Zakat and ensure that it reaches those most in need. By focusing on these categories, we uphold the core principle of Zakat, alleviating hardship and supporting those who are less fortunate within our community. So, in summary, today we see that Zakat isn't just about giving money. It's about targeted, compassionate support to those in real need, whether they're struggling after contributing to Allah's cause or stranded travelers in need of aid. This focus keeps our giving meaningful and aligned with the broader goals of social justice and community support.